We're talking about this boy Archer.
It's a bad dude, Archer.
We've been talking about him for
What's his name? What was his whole name?
I don't know.
I just remember Archer.
Archer Mayfield? That's not. I don't know if it's Mayfield. Whatever.
It's not Mayfield.
Archer. Look it up. But anyway, me and Sal have been talking about this boy Archer because he did an interview recently, and I think my man's a little misunderstood.
My man put it down, son.
Yeah, spitting old man game.
My man's definitely put it down.
Hudson Archer. Yeah. He's like on the 36th chamber.
Yes.
He's on that level. He's on a level where most people don't comprehend the things that he's doing and how he's doing it. They're like, well, you can't do that, or there's no way you're making that amount of money. He's the closest thing that I've seen to what we try to pretty much tell people, hey, like, it's not rocket science. Just know you're going to have to work, but this is how you do it. Because people are asking him questions like, is there a formula that'll work for everybody? Yeah. It's just like there's a formula to losing weight and getting in shape. You eat less, you work out more, you train, stay disciplined, all those things. Same thing with business. Like, there's things you could do. And as far as scaling, you take the right steps, reduce the risk, run with a low overhead. You just keep doing it. You just repeat it over and over and over. And then you optimize and you figure things out. And this guy he's sounding like he's been in the game. Like most of these cats that have been in the game for over X amount of years need to be on that level. And it's scary because they're not. So I can see Archer just being grouped in like as a scammer and stuff because of what he's teaching, but only because there's been so many, like, again, salt in the game.
Yeah.
There's been salt in the game. So it's even hard for us to, when people are asking, do you guys offer consulting and trainings? Yes, we do. But and one thing I noticed with Arch, and this is something we do, it goes based upon acceptance. He's like, we do a blueprint call with you to see if this is going to work out, which we do. We already have that in place because we've learned that this is the best way to do it. Have that blueprint call. Are we going to accept them? Are we going to take this on? Are we going to go further? Is this something we want to get involved with? And is this something that we know we're the best fit for? If not, let it go. If so, this is how we work it out. But we don't try to push that service too much because what does it do? It comes off as, as a scheme. Some people are like, oh, well, I took these other people's and this and that. And let's get it really, really clear. It doesn't matter whose class you're taking, what type of mentorship you have, or what type of training you're involved with. If you don't do the work and you're not disciplined, don't go out there saying, oh, well, it didn't work for me. We have guys that didn't want to pay for the 2-day class that we were doing. Oh, well, I could only make it to one. They weren't even willing to prioritize that much. And guess who's struggling? But again, most of the time, those are the type that also want the easy way out. Like the easy, what's the quick formula I can apply right now and it's going to be done? It doesn't work like that. The formula is simple, but it's extremely hard to execute and to stay disciplined and to stay consistent and all the things that are involved in that.
It's easy to get an A. It's harder to keep it.
Yeah. And I just think this kid is...
he's young, man. He's young with all that wisdom. Just being young and all that energy. God. Can you imagine us being that? Like, going the entrepreneur route? Like, and how fast we would have... Man, it just... That's I'm excited for doing.
It's exciting and refreshing to see people like that because I was completely caught off guard.
Yes, I
was caught off guard.
Usually when I listen to the podcast, I could do multiple things and listen okay, I'm not gonna miss too much here. I could rewind. No. This dude started talking, bro. I shut it off and said, nah. Yeah, but I'm gonna sit down and listen and enjoy this one.
I sent it to you because I was like, Sal's gonna love this dude because. Everything, there's intent behind everything. And when you tell people, in order to be successful, in order to accelerate anything, in order to optimize, in order to do these things, like you have to do every single thing with some sort of intent. Like you don't make a move, you don't waste energy, resources, anything unless it's going to progress you or your business or your development. And everything he's talking about is doing that.
Well, he hit him with so some of you guys don't need to get any faster because for what? You're not going to have no clients to go to after you get done with this. So you might as well spend all day doing this detail. You're being the most productive.
Yeah.
You're doing something. Other you're going to spend 4 hours go knocking on doors.
Yeah.
He breaks down the time and everything. It's just like people won't understand that.
It's nice to see people like that because those are people we have conversations with. That's why it's important for us to go and hang out with the people that we are on the same wavelength with and speaking the same language when it comes to business, because it could get very mundane. It could get very exhausting, and it's the same things over and over and over. I don't want to talk about chemicals. Like the chemicals are great if there's something that optimizes your style based off of a chemical or a tool or whatever. Great, do it. But if it's something that's mediocre and it may be hurting your business, but I don't want to sit here and debate about stuff. It's like it's not making that big of a difference anyway. If your business is trash, your business is trash, no matter what chemicals you're using. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he said he was getting down with chemical guys. That's how he started out. Yeah. He running with chemical guys for like a year.
Yeah.
Making money, man.
And I like how he talks about the shit that didn't go right for him.
Right.
And why he made the adjustments. And we always tell people identification is your best friend. If you can't identify what's going on in your business, if you can't identify things, then there's no way that you're ever going to be able to correct them. My man was finding the problems and then the solutions like within a very short, he was saying, well, I figured this out. This was causing me this, whatever. But by this time it was already fixed. So and that thing fixed 2 other problems I was having. So I never encountered that part of business. So when you operate like that, you progress like in years compared to the rest of the people that are doing the same thing you're doing.
He's not saying the same old reinvest in your business. No. He's not saying that dumb shit. The problem the problems he had now, what to do with this money.
Yeah. Which is a very common, very common.
He identified that.
Yes. Once you make a certain amount of money, it's like, okay, it doesn't really, like he was saying at the very beginning, it's always about your profit and the resources put forward that determines the value of what you're doing. Is it worth it for me to be doing this? Like for instance, let's just say a ceramic coating that's taking you 10 hours to do. Okay, it took me 10 hours to do the ceramic coating. I got this amount of money. Was that worth it? Not just was it, most people go, oh yeah, it was worth it. I got paid this amount of money. Was it worth the opportunity cost that you could have been doing something else? Was it worth the wear and tear on your body? Was it worth maybe the manual labor you had to pay for? Like, it's not just about the dollar. And I think people don't know how to look past that. They're like, well, I brought in this. It's like, first of all, what you're bringing in is one thing. What you're keeping is another. And that's where he kind of talks about stuff. And a lot of people talk about this, and that's all like lifestyle choice. Mm-hmm. How much are you actually keeping? And how much are you working? Like, that's also a big factor where he's like, if you're working X amount of time, then you're devaluing yourself and it makes it not worth it at some point. And he knew I scaled to this point, but at this point,
he figured out that number fast.
Yeah, I don't have to scale past this, because if I scale past this, there's exponential amount of problems now and points of failure that can occur that I'm not in that threshold yet. And this will kind of push me over the top where it's like, okay, now I have to dedicate everything to pretty much maintenance and maintaining and staff oversight in those things. But he's like, also, it's not worth the additional money that's going to bring in. Yes, I'll be profiting a little bit more, but is it worth all of that work? Like, that's where you have to kind of see that sweet spot. And another thing, I think it was him who said he's never going to get rid of the mobile service. He goes,
he said he hasn't found a good argument
to get rid of it.
To get rid of it.
Yes.
So that's what I like about my man.
Yes.
I'm going to keep using anything that works until it doesn't work no more. Like, I'm going to keep this bubble thing going until someone tells me, or if I figure out that this is losing money.
And I think we said that on the last video where we said, when you find a process that's we did it on the podcast with Born Detail. So or with Nick or somebody said, when you find that process that works for you, that's bringing you the most money, you'll feel it, you'll know. And if you're able to recognize it, and if you're tracking your data, you're going to say, okay, well, this is where I need to be focusing on. And that's what he did. So it eliminates a lot of the problems in it. Just by you isolating something like that, like you're releasing the probability of so many different things of happening and risk and bad decisions.
So he touched on it a little bit because they asked him about, they're talking about going mobile. He goes, well, I'm not thinking about getting a shop. He's like, well, right now we're testing one of an employee or somebody on the staff. Open it up where you can make a studio out of a garage. So he said, they're going to try that out. So I know my man's going to figure that out. Be like, okay, if it's time to open the shop for him, he's making money. Yeah. He already figured it out. Like, okay, or no, you know what? We got rid of the shop stuff. It's not for us to make money. He's going to figure it out.
The fun part is it's a different way of, he's basing everything off of proven success that he's had and kind of going on his own journey. And I feel like if more guys did that, then that, like Jamie, he doesn't have your standard business model. I know we're talking about Jamie a lot, but he's doing really good things and really difficult things. And that's just how he operates the business. And it's moving along. He's doing really well. And it's fun for us to see guys that just take things on. And it's like, okay, well, they're not afraid for things to go bad because things are going to go bad. It's like you just learn and keep it moving. Like, I think the more that you go head on with your business, there's a little bit more risk there, but it could be a lot riskier by not encountering that stuff early. Because if you're encountering it later on, then it's like, man, I was wasting all this money, all this time, all this, doing this.
This dude just had a bunch of just game. Like he talked about how to market in each different category, like how to market in Google, how to market on Facebook. Like he had a strategy
for everything.
Like it wasn't the same thing. It was all just tailored little.
It was very, very refreshing.
Yes.
And a lot of people, I feel like, question him. It's like, if my man's talking like this is, when we always say people who are selling the programs, they just give you the surface level stuff because they don't know any more than that surface level. My man Hudson ain't one of those dudes. Hudson will go all the way to the core issue, tell you why those decisions were made, and then give you the results of the decision he made and give you the proven numbers or data, whatever from behind. That's what type of dude this is. That's who we like to mess with because we like facts.
Whatever this dude's selling as far as classes, let's go see this man. He talks about that too.
Yeah.
He talks about I bought all these courses not for the course, just so those guys could I can know those guys.
It's strategy, bro. Like
at 18.
Yeah.
My man's 18, son.
Yeah. So pleasantly surprised about that. But a lot of the guys that are taking his stuff, I'm sure they're seeing results if, like I said at the beginning, if they're disciplined, if they just like anyone else, you can give all the game in the world, but if you're not going to apply any of it, it doesn't really matter. Like you could have all the talent in the world. That doesn't mean that you're going to get it. Like, and it doesn't mean that whoever gave you that game or opportunity, it's not their fault. It's everything is reliant on what you're willing to put in and how hard you're willing to work, right?
Right.
Because that's it. Because I haven't met anybody that's been really, really successful that's not putting in the work or has not put in the work, right? Like all of them. Like I know cats that have 3-4 jobs that are just trying to live their dream, and they're like, I ain't letting this shit go. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I was there at a point where I had 3-4 jobs, like little side jobs just to keep the dream going. And there's nothing wrong with that. So if that's where you're at in your business, this type of information will get you there so much faster, man. If you're on that hustle and you're already doing the physical part, because we see a lot of guys out there doing the physical work. It's like, okay, we know you ain't gonna give up, player. We know you're not giving up because you're just a hard worker.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about the physical part of you. Like the part that you need to kind of concentrate on is the mindset. You get that mindset right, paired with that, it's over. Because right now it's like, I don't know, it's like you're operating the business without a mind almost. You know what I mean? It's just the physical part of it work. Like you got to incorporate that mind in there to really look at things.
Bro, he touches on that too. He does it in a smooth way. He talks about labor, how he talks about just how putting labor into it. That there's a fine line of that too when you need to break off and you're losing money too. So it's just smooth, man.
Yeah. Well, then why we liked it too is because it's all the things that we encountered all that, and we're like, okay, he got that. And then I got to the point where I was like, let me see if this motherfucker figured this one out yet. And then I'm like, oh, okay, he got it. I'm like, all right, so you're good. Because at first I'm like, let me see, I don't know shit. And then I'm watching, I'm like, okay, I see where you're going with this. Yeah, so Hunter?
No, Archer.
Hudson. I'm so sorry. Hudson. We're gonna be reaching out, player. We get
nice with it, man.
Yeah, we need to get the talk in. So
if like they talked about it too, they said, she goes, you remind me of Luke Wilson. Yeah. They're
both sharp dudes.
Solutions.
Yeah, sharp. Those are ones like sharp dudes. But yeah, there's so if you guys don't know who he is, go check him out. Let us know what you think. Let us know your opinion on my man Hudson. That'd be an interesting conversation. But we're gonna get in touch with Hudson. So he'll be on the podcast soon. We're gonna get that man on. So on that subject, touching on the subject, because I know Archer has a lot of newbies starting out in detailing. With your experience, what would you start out with? If somebody came to you, comes to you and says, Sal, I want to start detailing, man. Like, for whatever reason, what would you recommend? Like this person do in to get like your first clients.
Okay,
and just accumulating everything.
So all right, what are we
like?
We're talking about like tools. We're talking about strategy.
Just everything real quick. I don't know if I want to even do this, but I want to try it out for like a month. Give me some advice I could do in a month. That's gonna make an impact. Give me a taste of whether or not I want to do this.
Okay, I would go on YouTube. I'm assuming that you know a little bit about cleaning.
Yeah, usually they're
all right. I will go get me my essential tools, waterless bucket, some brushes. I have a budget in mind, $200-$300, right? And that's all going to consist of the normal stuff. So I'll leave that for the you know what I mean. Yeah. And then I would start with the neighbors. I will start with the neighbors. Do them for free because they're neighbors and giving back to the community. All that I would do those for free. Maybe like for the one time only, and say after that, give me a price, $50.
Yeah.
And that's what I would start within the first month, man. That's what I would do. The very basics. Well, as far as ads and all that, I don't know. I wouldn't spend any money on that until I start getting booked out at least a week straight.
Yeah, you probably don't even have a business name at that point.
No, I'm doing everything. I'm pretty much just cleaning. Yeah, that is it.
Yeah. Well, what would you say to somebody, because we get a lot of these questions? What chemicals do I need if they're just starting out? Like, what chemicals do I need? You
need a good you need an interior cleaner. You need waterless wash, waterless chemical. I'm sorry, rinseless. You probably need about 4 chemicals, man. That's it.
Yeah.
A window cleaner, some spot remover, interior cleaner, and your tire shine, and your rinseless. That's it. That's it.
Yeah. If you're doing basics, and would you what services would you tell people to do? If they're starting?
I would do the very, very basic. Very, very basic. I would do with just outside, just car wash. That's all I would do, car wash.
And from your experience, what's the cheapest way, but the most what gives you the most value when it comes to like if you were choosing a product, would you go cheap because it's cheap? Would you go something mid-grade, something higher grade that's going to stretch a little bit longer? It might be a little bit more expensive for the concentrate, but it's going to stretch you.
Yeah, I would go with something.
Where do you think you would go?
I would go with something that lasts the longest. So that way I'm not spending time replenishing.
Yeah.
Everything should be based on the actual labor itself, putting the work into that, not going back and doing weekly store runs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
no,
I did a lot of that shit. That was terrible. Starting out, a lot of guys do that. You're like, oh well, I'll just get the gallon next time. I'll get the gallon because the only thing you really buy in a gallon at that point is like super clean.
And then, again, man, Archer talks about that. He didn't waste any time figuring out what was the best product. He spent his time finding out how to market himself the best.
Yeah.
I mean, just sharp, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, my bad.
Shout out to yeah, so we're talking about just starting out. What's some essentials starting out besides, put the tools and all that stuff aside. I think one of the essentials is, my man Archer talked about it yesterday, listening to the right people. How many times and we've made a video at least, we probably made at least 5-6 videos where we touched on this point. And there was one video where we had just bad advice, where people try to tell you, they try to give you the advice. Archer was big. He was like, if they haven't achieved that level of what you're talking about in the discussion, he goes, I don't need that opinion from you.
That's the argument that I had with people in education. When people say, that guy I have a business degree. Are you running a business? No, we're talking 2 different things here.
Yeah.
Well, I got my business degree.
Yeah.
I got my business degree. People were teaching it that didn't run a business. You know what I mean? So that's why, that doesn't matter.
Yeah. Where are you getting this information from?
Again, getting advice from people that aren't in this in that realm.
Yeah.
I put that in the same thing when it comes to business.
Yeah. And bad business advice. I know guys that were taking business advice from people and it was hurting their business so bad where it almost put them out of business. Where they would come to me and they say, oh, I don't do that. Okay, why don't you do that? Oh, well, they just say don't do that. It's not good to do that. I say, that's costing you money. And this has happened on multiple occasions. One of the occasions was something as simple as no same day appointments. Because why do most detailers not do same day appointments?
Because they got an ego?
No.
Oh, well, yes. For some people, don't say, "Oh, you gotta do an advance."
Yeah, some people do that.
But it's because they can't.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They're incapable.
Yeah,
they cannot optimize their time enough to prioritize anything else within their day. Their time management is just obviously it's a very, very difficult thing to do. But for us, that's one of the offerings we're able to do.
It's an option,
and that will change. That can double our day easily if we take on some of these same day stuff. And do we do it all the time? No. Would we want to do it all the time? No. But when the opportunity arises, it's like, okay, boom, we got you right there, locked in. And that in itself locks in so much clientele because you're getting something that 90% of your market can't accommodate. So you're capturing that all day long. Like you just know it's going to funnel down to me at some point because they're getting all these no's. They're just waiting to hear the first yes, and that's going to be us. So things like that, when people tell others, oh yeah, we can't do same day appointments, don't do same day appointments. This individual would be at home not working. And they would call him and say, hey, can you come do a detail today? Oh, I can't. We don't do same day appointments. Can you, like, what? Like,
I don't work on weekends.
I'm telling you. It's insane. Some of the advice that people get will kill your business. That will kill your business real quick. Oh, bro, you know how many people give us advice? Do you know how many people give us advice? You know how many people said, we should have multiple vans. We should do this. We should do that. We should have this. We should have that. No. There's so many pieces of advice that people throw out to you, and most of them are not from business owners. There's some business owners where it's like, okay, what'd you say? Mm-hmm. All right, I'll keep that one in my back pocket. Like that one ain't going nowhere. Write that one down, Sal. Or there's times where it's like, yes, make a move, do something. If the opportunity comes along and it's something that's going to benefit you or take you in the direction that you want your business to go down. But on the other end, you're like, hey man, what you should do is you should go down to this neighborhood and do this. And it's like, no, thank you. It's not, people think that, the way that people think money is made through a business, it's usually not that way in reality.
Well, yeah, like
they just think all you gotta do is advertise, and it's like that's not the. Oh, just throw some money at advertising. Oh, you'll be just.
Oh man, you work on Corvettes. Oh, you must make a lot of money. Like that same thing. They see you working on a Corvette. You know what I mean. They see you working on a nice car.
Yeah.
Oh, you worked in that Porsche. Oh, you must make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Don't work that way.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Oh man, don't worry about it.
Yeah. It's just really, really important that, and especially in the social media age where everybody's trying to throw some knowledge or something at you, half the time you probably shouldn't be listening to it. You should find those ones that are proven. That's what helped me in detailing specifically. The people that really helped me with the technical part were the ones that I was trusting, and the ones where they told me, okay, this is going to do this, and then it did it. And they were able to break down and really explain things to me beforehand, before I even used it. So it was, like Scott at Detail Division. Hey, Joel, use it with this at this time. This is when it's going to work its best, whatever. So you already know in what condition to use it, how to use it, why, and the result you can expect. Same thing with Steve at P&S. Steven was always like, anytime I had a problem, hey, use this. Try this with this. If that doesn't work, Joel, you're pretty much just let them know it's not going to happen, But that was, though I was getting advice from people like that. So when you get advice from people like that, it's almost like, I don't really need to hear anybody else's advice from anything else.
You can shut it down.
Yeah, like you got to really come at me with some real good stuff for me to be able to be convinced to even take the time to try something. So, same thing, Casey. He was just like, yo, man, just try it. Try it. Once we tried it, it's like, okay, I get it. This stuff clicked like that. Okay, boom. Incorporate it into the business. Those are moves that you got to decide. I know guys that are just like, oh, well, they told me this was it, so I bought the whole product line. Well, that may not be cost effective for you, and it may not be the best choice for the application you're using it on. So there's certain technical advice, but training is always the best. But finding those people to get trained by. Because we've seen the good trainings and we've seen the bad trainings. And I think the same thing kind of goes with like these mentorship things and like the stuff that Archer got going on. There's a lot of them that are bad and there's the ones that are good too. But I could easily see how they all just get jumbled together because all the bad ones, you know, the rotten apples just kind of fucked up everything for everybody. Now it's messing with everybody's money.
We should. That'll be fun to take these classes and just rate them. We paid for them. And say whatever the fuck you want about them. Yeah. Take these classes. Tell them which. Take these 10 classes and we'll rate them how they suck from one.
Yeah. Maybe we will. Maybe we will.
These classes, what, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000. Well, Archer, man, I think they got $7,500 a program. I think hold it down for 6 months. So I'm sure he's giving a lot of info. They're covering a lot of stuff. They're getting knee deep.
They better be. It's probably a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was too much for people.
I'm sure it is.
Because I can sit there and I love that type of information. But some people, it's like math. Some people love math, some people hate math. I don't like math, but the people that love math, they could sit there and be about math all day long. That's kind of what, Archer's level of thinking is. It's unique. He's thinking outside of the box and just finding the solution. He's not thinking things have to stay within a certain parameter. Business is business. Like that's your choice. That's your freedom to figure out how you operate it and how you solve things within your business. And I think a lot of guys, they just look for the yes, no answer or the, hey, how do I fix this? Instead of, okay, let's look at the operation as a whole and see what needs to be eliminated, what needs to be emphasized more, and what's causing us problems.
I was just thinking right now, I said something about school people. Oh, Sal, you're saying education is not important while it's coming. Right? They're going to take it. They're going to take it there, and obviously they went over the head, just like my man Archer. I didn't know they were going to say that in the comments. You're saying tell people don't go to school if it don't suit you. Yeah, I'll tell them don't go to school. Anyway, yeah, man, we should go to these classes, bro. Check them out.
But we got a few under our belt already.
Yeah.
So we may just break it down at the end of the year. We can break it down.
Yeah, we paid for these classes.
Which one?
We're at liberty to talk about it if they suck or not.
Yeah.
You already got my money. What you mad about?
Yeah. So new merch, guys. We got a cool new merch out there. We got a new series that is dropping. It may be out by the time this is airing, but it's going to be for a limited time, but very, very cool. Little something in there for everybody, so go check that out. Go check out my man Archer. Go check him out. Like, we really want to hear your guys' feedback on this guy, because we were very, very interested.
Let me get his. Now we'll link it.
Yeah,
his channel.
We'll link it in the description. That's all we got for you. So we'll catch you guys on the next one.